So I've tried to make this about 100 times now. Tried to do it before I went to the gym, but that didn't work out. So I'm a little sweaty, a little unruly, and we're just going to thug it out and go from here. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to talk about my 87-pound weight loss on GLP-1s. Before I started GLP-1s a little over a year ago, I did a lot of research. Does not make me a professional. This is not medical advice. This is my personal journey. I will say, if you want to find somebody to follow, if you have any questions, if you want a lot of material information on GLP-1s all in one, the Countess of Shopping on YouTube is amazing. Love her. She has information on everything. So before I started taking these GLP-1s, I had to find a why. That's what the internet told me to do. Find your why, because GLP-1s are not for the faint of heart. It is a journey. It is not a magical shot that just does all the work for you. My why was my kids. I was 237 pounds, 5 foot nothing. I felt like a terrible mom. All I wanted to do was sleep. When I would sleep, I would wake up. I'd have cravings and take them out for ice cream and Waffle House and all this BS. And then guess what? I was tired again. I would go out to the park with them, and guess what? I couldn't do anything with them. I was fat and tired. I started moving. I was out of breath. I felt like the worst mom. My husband, he has his own issues. He has manic bipolar depressive disorder, and it's something that we've had to work through up and down. It was a roller coaster of events with that man. But he also had to deal with me, and we dealt with each other through thick and thin, through sickness and in health, and yada, yada, yada. I was very insecure. I had no confidence whatsoever. And I'm not going to say I was jealous. I was never really jealous. But hold on. Ooh, music. No. I was never really jealous, but it affected our relationship in other ways. Not having any confidence and being insecure in everything I wore, not wanting to go out, not wanting to take pictures, not feeling sexy when a wife should feel sexy. Well, moving on from that, myself. I was my own why, as you should be. My mental health was really struggling. I was in plus size clothing now. There's nothing cute in plus size. Nothing. Everything was XXL at this point. Yoga pants, t-shirts, sneakers, maybe some sandals. If I wanted to spice things up and dress myself up a little bit, it was yoga pants and a nice shirt. That was it. I was sick of that. I was sick of undressing and looking at myself in the mirror or in the shower and just being disgusted with myself. Like, ugh, look at you. You let yourself go. You got fat rolls and 2 chins and 10 asses, and I was really beating myself up. I mean, I would talk to myself in my head worse than I would ever talk to my worst enemy. And on top of my PTSD, my anxiety, my manic depression, it was worse. There were times I didn't have the stamina. I didn't have the motivation to get out of bed in the morning. And I was struggling. So when I finished RN school, I had my whys. I wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to be a better wife. And I wanted to be the best version of myself that I could be. And I remember thinking to myself, the clothes, oh my gosh, the clothes. I'm going to wear whatever the hell I want to wear. I definitely was not one of those people that looked at other women and thought, ugh, she's a mom. She's dressed like, no, if I had that body, I would be rocking the hell out of it. You better believe it. So excited. You know, I got on this journey and I thought, man, I can't wait but there was doubt in the back of my mind that I was going to fail just like I did everything else. I researched the hell out of this. I looked up other people's journeys, and I was ready for change. Now, when I finally saw the doctor, we got on tirzepatide niacinamide compound, and I was expecting a few things. I was expecting gas, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, a loss of appetite, and I was preparing myself for this. I bought a 30-day pill organizer. I knew I wasn't going to be eating as much, so I wanted to make sure that I supplemented with everything that I needed, or the things that I could supplement. I don't think we're ever going to get everything our body needs. We've just deviated so far from that as a society, as humans, really. So I got a couple of staples, a multivitamin, my regular daily gas pill, which what for me was omeprazole, omega vitamins, vitamin D, and my psych meds, my antidepressants, and all of that. Now, every morning I supplemented my coffee, my morning coffee. I would do half an Atkins vanilla milkshake with a scoop of collagen and a scoop of benefiber. I never knew if I was going to have constipation or diarrhea. And I would have that first thing in the morning. So at least I knew I got my collagen and my protein first thing. And then I would have another one around lunchtime. So once I started taking the injection, it took about 3 days for me actually to feel anything. Once I did, oh man, the bloat was real. I would get bloated. I would get severely fatigued. I could sleep all day and then sleep some more. So kind of counterintuitive, because that's what I was trying to get away from. But it only lasted about 3 days. Explosive diarrhea. Oh man, that was a fun one. Sulfur burps, another fun one. And my favorite side effect had to have been the food noise. It disappeared. It was gone. I did not want chocolate cake. It was amazing. So was it worth it at the time? Yeah, because it gave me hope. When the food noise went away, I thought, I think I can do this. And the appetite was still a little there. I feel like it had to build up in my system. I still wanted to eat, and I did. So for 6 weeks, I feel it was building up. I was a turtle. I was losing like half a pound a week. But you know what? Half a pound was better than what I was losing before, which was nothing. And after those 6 weeks, I kind of used that time to tweak things. I realized oatmeal was not my friend. I'm very sensitive to carbs, and it was kind of holding me back. It stuck with me. So I gave that up. I was force feeding myself because I thought I was supposed to. And then I realized I just needed to listen to my body. When I was hungry, I ate. In the middle of the day, I would start with my coffee. I would have my second coffee in the middle of the day, both with protein and collagen. And I would snack. I would graze on fruit, protein bars, protein chips, tuna, and I would drink a lot of water. My electrolytes. That was probably the most expensive of all my supplements. Don't buy the expensive if you can't afford it. The Propel Powerade packets, I mean, get what you can afford. That's what I used. I used the blue and white sugar-free Powerade packets. And I would put one in my big giant tumbler. And every time I got halfway through my tumbler, I would refill it with water. Because you're not eating a lot. you're not getting all of those essential vitamins and minerals that you should be getting through your food. And that's also going to add to the fatigue. So I made sure I had at least one of those a day in the very beginning, and then every other day, because it was really expensive. Of all the supplements, the freaking electrolytes were expensive. I think I still have some. Yeah. So, oh, it wasn't Powerade, it was Gatorade. So these are the ones that I lived by. Still use them sometimes. And then I tried these Salud ones. Those were okay. Really didn't care for the flavors too much. I started adding the horchata one into my morning coffee, so I knew I got my electrolytes in. Just get what you can afford. You don't have to be fancy. Just get what you can get. Food. Food, food, food. Like I said, I grazed all day. I was not about to make 2 dinners, okay? I was working 3 jobs for a long time, just finished RN school, had 2 kids, one in every sport you can imagine, and a crazy husband. I'm cooking 1 dinner. So I grazed all day, and then I had a regular dinner, which was red beans and rice, pot roast. What else? What was a staple? Red beans and rice, pot roast, salmon and rice with roasted veggies, baked potatoes, stir fry. I really didn't limit myself to any particular diet. I just continued making dinner the way I always made dinner and ate with my family. That was our thing. It's always been our thing. We always have dinner together at the table, no electronics. That's it. If my kids are on their devices all day long, at least I know during dinner, we are present for each other to talk about our day and all that jazz. And come the evening time, because I had only grazed all day, I actually had a little bit of an appetite. I would have a plate and I would go to bed. I would stay up a little while and then I would go to bed. I didn't really feel too bad at night. I'm one of those people that likes to go to bed with something in their belly. I know it's not a good habit, but that's just me. As for snacks, things that kind of got me through, these are amazing. This one in particular, Pecan Delight. I would buy like the big 40 pack of Pecan Delights, which was kind of expensive, but it would last me forever. Then I would buy a big giant bag of Sour Patch Kids, which I put in this cute little jar with the wooden lid, and it would last me 3 months. On a regular basis, I would have a Diet Coke, and before bed, I would have a sugar-free vanilla chocolate swirl pudding cup. Those were my guilty pleasures. They weren't even guilty. I didn't feel guilty about it at all. They were all sugar-free. And I just needed a little something to make me feel normal. Let's see. Lastly, plateaus. Ooh, those are fun. Those happen. Plateaus. What am I going to do during a plateau? Everybody breaks their plateaus differently. So do you, boo. Do you. But for me, after a couple of plateaus, I had a few of them, I realized going to the gym more didn't change anything. Eating less did, but damn, I felt bad. I felt terrible if I purposely tried to eat less. So what I did, to me, was like pure genius. I talked to my doctor about everything. Love Dr. Eduardo. I felt like I could talk with him about any issues I had, anything that I suggested he would listen to. I would quit taking my shot. I would stop my shot for 2 weeks. 2 weeks only. Give myself that time to eat and just stabilize, whatever you want to call it. And then I would start it again. And every time I started it again, it was like a reset, and the weight started falling off. Well, with Dr. Eduardo, another thing in the beginning when I had all those side effects, I couldn't stand being so tired. I could deal with the sulfur burps, the diarrhea, the this, the that. We ended up splitting my dose. So I would take half one day and then half the next. And once my body became more tolerable to it, I would take half in the morning and half in the evening. When we would go up in dose, I would go back to half one day, another half the next day in the evening. And then once we got to a really high dose, I would split it up in 3 days because the fatigue was just so strong for me of all the side effects. That was probably the worst. Let's see. Make sure you have a good doctor you can communicate with, talk to about all your concerns and questions. And I feel like we're coming to an end here. Stalls. That's what I did for stalls. It worked great. Exercise. There we go. I knew that I needed something to be sustainable. I wanted consistency, not perfection. I know myself. And if I go hard at the gym, I can't sustain that. I'm a mom that has a full-time job. I'm not working on the days I have to work. And if I worked 4 days out of that week, I was going to rest 1 and work out 2. If I worked 5 days out of that week, I would go to the gym those 2 days out of the week. And I never compromised that. Initially, when I started working out before I started the injections. I made a vow to myself I wasn't going to push myself hard. I did 20 minutes at the gym and left. I probably looked like a lazy SOB because I was still 237 pounds. And I would go in 20 minutes, then leave. Started taking my shot. Go in 30 minutes, then leave. Go in 35 minutes, then leave. The longest I did for the first 6 to 8 months was 45 minutes in the gym. Low weight, high reps, cardio, HIIT. If I did HIIT, it was like a slow version of HIIT. And I was able to sustain that. I was able to go to the gym every day off because I knew I only had to give 20 minutes and then leave. I was good with that. Once I lost the bulk of my weight, which was amazing, everybody started noticing. Sound like Trump. Everybody started noticing. It was amazing. It was great. I decided it was time to increase my weights, increase my time at the gym, and I did that once the bulk of my weight was gone because I build muscle easily, and I knew that if I saw the muscle gain, my scale was going to go up, and if I saw my scale go up, I was going to give up. So I waited until it was mostly gone, and I slowly started increasing my time at the gym. I slowly started increasing my weights until I finally reached my goal weight. Once I reached my goal weight, I was all in. I was like pure savage mode. Let's push these weights to the max and build some muscle because I gave myself a 10-pound allowance. And that's where I'm at now, is just muscle building, reverse dieting. Oh my gosh, that's harder than dieting. That's so hard. I'll make a video on that whenever I figure it out. But yeah, that's everything I've got for you. So take what you want, leave what you don't, and good luck. I really hope that it gives you what it's given me. I have more energy for my children. I feel more confident with my husband. We love on each other more. We're more affectionate. So our marriage is better and my mental is better. I feel confident in clothes now. I use clothes as an expression of how I feel now. And I was never able to do that before. And I'm able to take my kids to the park and we go crabbing and fishing and run around and dance in the house. And it's just truly amazing. My whole life has changed because of it. And it took me 433 days. No, 423 days to lose 87 pounds. I could not be happier. I could not be happier. So do your research, talk with your doctors, make a plan, and good luck. Don't give up. There were times I got really depressed because I didn't know how to have fun with my family other than just eating. So when that happened, I started increasing my antidepressants, of course, with my PCP, my primary care physician. We talked about it, and I'm like, hey, I got to figure out what to do with my fam, because we used to just eat, and I'm not doing that anymore. So it was a journey, mentally, physically, emotionally. But if I can do hard things, you can too. We all can. So good luck.